Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Twinhammer. Today, I wanted to talk about the golden age of Warhammer match play. This is a feeling that I've been getting recently while playing Warhammer the Old World and Kill Team. And I started to realize that both of them, in their match play formats, now have several similarities that make them really, really enjoyable to play. So, we're going to be going through those similarities right now. Okay, so those similarities are standardization, mix of scoring methods, variety of playstyles, support and balance, and amazing communities. Okay, so the standardization, both Warhammer the Old World and Kill Team have standardized match play packs. So Warhammer the Old World has the match play guide, and Kill Team has the approved ops card pack 2025. And these allow for consistency across different tournaments and allow for a sense of predictability and comfort within a scoring rule set. So this allows tournament organizers to work within the same framework, and it gives a feeling of a worldwide community all enjoying the same competitive rule set. So there's room for TOs, tournament organizers, to put their own touches on tournaments, but they can all work within the same foundation. This is very important because if you don't have standardization, you'll go to one tournament, it'll feel like you're playing one style of game. You go to the other one, it'll feel like you're playing another. And it doesn't really give you a sense of consistency. You could have fun, but I feel like this just gives a more worldwide community feeling. You can have better conversations with people around the world because you're all looking at the same kind of scoring. Now, talking about scoring, we have a variety of scoring in both match play packs for the Old World and Kill Team. And this allows for dynamic gameplay and a lot of player agency within each game, which feels very fresh, and it can make for a variety of different game outcomes. So both of these games have three different methods of scoring that happen simultaneously. So they both actually have the same three methods. The first one is you get points for removing your opponent's pieces. So destroying your opposing force, you're going to get rewarded for having your models attack and destroy the enemy models. But it's not just that. You also now have to complete a shared mission objective, such as holding objectives. This is now common across both the Old World and Kill Team. Or in the Old World, you can go for a baggage cart, try to destroy their kind of supply line. In Kill Team, you have methods to kind of loot and send various orbs and disruption pieces to your opponent's side of the board. So both of you are there to kind of try to eliminate each other, but at the same time complete another objective simultaneously. Now, both packs also introduce a set of secret objectives that you yourself are trying to achieve, but your opponent doesn't know what you're trying to do. And similarly, your opponent's trying to achieve something you don't know what they're trying to do. So in Warhammer the Old World Match Play Guide, we actually do have just a set of 6 secret objectives. And in Kill Team, we have a set of TAC ops, which you will choose one of each game and try to complete. And it starts off secret, and then you reveal it to your opponent as you go. So why is a mix of scoring methods good for the game? Some might say, oh, it's, you know what, there's so many different ways of scoring now, it feels a bit complicated, it feels a bit like too much. Can I just go and run at my opponent? The reasons why a mix of scoring methods is good is because both the Old World and Kill Team, they previously had one-dimensional scoring, and that could lead to very predictable outcomes, leading to stale gameplay. And for example, you could, in the Old World, there's things called skew lists, and these skew lists dominate one particular scoring method. So when you only have one scoring method, examples like unkillable Death Stars, let's say you just take a massive unit of Dwarven Iron Breakers, and then you put a ward save on them. Now that's going to be almost complete points denial for your opponent. You previously could have a dragon character like a high elf dragon on a prince, stack 3 different types of saves on them. And when you're only using kill points, this before was an issue because it would lead to these skewed lists that were either maximizing killing potential or making it very hard to kill. And you would just have these incredibly tight games where you're just trying to pick off small little points here and there, and then just keep your big points all wrapped up in one big blanket. An example for the other side of things where you didn't have kill points previously in Kill Team, you would have a Vet Guard Horde team just like activating two guys simultaneously looting and then almost automatically winning the game because they could just trade their models for points without any drawback. Now, because there's kill points, if you trade those models for points, it also negatively impacts you at the same time. So you have to have this delicate balance. And the reason this balance is good is because it opens up different playstyle possibilities and player agency. So if you did want to go heavy into trying to kill your opponent, you can build like that. You would just be probably doing it at the expense of not scoring the main objective, or maybe try to get your secret objective lined up with that as well. If you wanted to play more avoidance and go more objective based playstyle, that is now a possibility as well. So if your faction isn't the best at killing or isn't the most durable, but is quite fast and mobile, you can kind of play a quick dart and run playstyle in that sense. So again, gives you two different ways of multiple ways of playing the game. You can also go for a balance between killing and objective play. So there's ways of skewing into a particular scoring method if you do like that as your playstyle. But because there's three happening at the same time, it doesn't make it one-dimensional. This rewards using your pieces to their full potential based on their strengths and weaknesses. So if you have kind of fragile units that are very mobile, you just use them for scoring objectives. If you have units that are very tanky, you're going to use them to try to deny your opponent's points, as examples. So it feels very fresh right now with this beautiful mix of three different styles of scoring. Now, we're going to get into, again, similar points that I just made. You have many different play styles. So both the Old World and Kill Team at the moment have a variety of play styles you can choose from. And they're not even limited to just your faction choice. For example, in the Old World, the same faction, Bretonia, now has so many different ways of playing with the arcane journals that have now added supplementary list building. You can go so many different ways. You could go all cavalry, you could go flying cavalry heavy, you could go infantry and peasant heavy with artillery, or a mix of all three. So there's so many different ways you can play even just one faction. And in Kill Team, even though you don't have quite the list building capabilities of Old World, you do still have quite a bit of choice within each particular team's faction to choose different operatives and choose different loadouts based on the style of play that you want to play. And you could, for example, if your team has access to a lot of melee operatives and shooting operatives, you can either choose to go melee heavy or you choose to go shooting heavy, or a mix depending on your opponent. And in Kill Team, in a tournament, you can choose based on each game the loadout. So it gives you flexibility within list building within each match, which is a very, very fun and fresh thing. And both the Old World and Kill Team have made efforts to make many different playstyles viable. For example, the Old World, it started off with infantry being a bit lackluster. Then they came out with a big rebalance that boosted the effectiveness of infantry, with them being able to fight in multiple ranks and gain extra defense. So this is a current feeling in the Old World where units that were a little bit less effective are now more effective. And this is especially seen with core units and ambushers playing an important role in the match play guide for controlling objectives. That is now a big part of the scoring. Whereas before, because if it was just kill points, core units weren't really that good at killing, or they weren't the most elite and tanky to staying alive. So now your core units are much more viable and they're much more encouraged in your list building. They don't feel like a tax anymore. There was a term being thrown around called the core tax. And it was kind of a feel bad because most of your points have to go into core, and you don't want to just feel like it's just a tax, like non-exciting units that you had to put in. Now that's not the case. Core units are very exciting because they can do a lot of scoring for you. Ambushers, they can come in now in the back of the board. They could take your opponent's baggage train. They can come in and capture a particular part of the map, which is in like dominate and different things where you have to capture various parts of the maps. They now are very important and they have a really good role. Before they could come in, they don't really have a role. They couldn't kill much and they would be kind of viewed as useless. Now they have an important role. Now, an example in Kill Team is in this edition of Kill Team, they boosted the effectiveness of elite teams, 5 or 6 operative teams, because now if you run out of your activations and your opponent still has some, you get more actions to do in terms of counteracts. And so it really mitigates being outnumbered. Elite teams all the way up, so 5 or 6 operative teams all the way up to 14 operative teams and everything in between. They all have their strengths and weaknesses now, and they're all viable in terms of the loadout. So it feels really good in terms of if you want to go an elite heavy play style, just very few operatives, but everyone can do a lot. You could do that. If you prefer this huge feeling of teamwork, you can go with a bigger number of operatives that all work together to kind of try to bring down those elites. So there's a lot of different ways to play, and it's very, very good. Makes it feel very fresh for both games. Now, getting into support and balance, we've talked about this a bit. Both the Old World and Kill Team have made efforts to make competitive play balanced. And I know a lot of you will probably be feeling, what do you mean balanced? I've had many times where I can point out that, one Kill Team was maybe more powerful than the other. Old World maybe had a few different unit choices that were a bit more powerful, but both game systems have made efforts to get balance better. It's going to be very hard to perfectly balance because Kill Team has 40 different teams to choose from, and the Old World has very open-ended list building, allowing for almost infinite combinations of lists. So it's very hard to get the balance perfectly right. However, there's instances where they have made clear endeavors to amend things that were overpowered, and hopefully we just keep seeing that continuously more and more often. And the reason this kind of feels like a golden age is because, to my recollection, previously back in the hobby in the early 2000s and 2010s, I don't recall there being this much support to make things balanced. It would be like almost quite a few years you could go with the same kind of game balance. Now it feels like they're trying more and more to kind of give regular updates. So we hope this continues and it gets even better in the future, and we appreciate the efforts. So let's keep that going. Now, talking about the incredible communities and player bases. So both the Old World and Kill Team have incredible player bases and tournament organizers that help make the experience of going to a tournament very enjoyable. There's this fallacy that is quickly, I think, getting dispelled by most of the community that going to a tournament, everybody just wants to win. They're going to just play super hard and you're not going to have a good time. I think that couldn't be farther from the feeling based on all the tournaments that I've gone to recently. The TOs really, really do make an effort to encourage competitive, just really healthy competitive play. And we have now BCP and Discord that we have a lot of communities on, so we can find events, we can find other players, we can have this feeling of a thriving community. And when we get to the tournaments, we have TOs that emphasize the golden trifecta, what I like to call the golden trifecta of sportsmanship, hobby, and strategy. So there's awards for sportsmanship, there's awards for hobby, painting and building, and there's awards for actually winning the game and having those points as well. So this gives players that like to focus on different aspects of the hobby and the game even more reasons to come out to tournaments. The player bases are extremely friendly and encouraging as well, and we just want to keep that feeling going. So tournaments are just ways of just connecting with the player base. You get a lot of games in one day. It's a very, very fun time, and you can really meet someone that you haven't met before. Playing a game against them just allows you to bridge the gap and get to know them better. You can go to a tournament and just set yourself a goal of, I'm getting this list ready and I'm trying to do my best. And I'm just painting up my favorite team, bringing it there, and just can't wait to showcase it. So you don't have to, going to a tournament doesn't mean that you have to go to win it. That takes time and it takes effort and it takes experience. So go to get personal wins, and you're going to have an amazing time. You're going to find that everybody's very, very supportive. And we got a big shout out to the TOs as well. Here in Toronto, Canada, we've got amazing TOs for both of these as well. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. We hope to see you at events. We've got the Square-based GT tomorrow in Toronto, Canada, hosted by Val and Shane. Can't wait for that. Really pumped. We've got Chimera Gaming in Kitchener, going to be hosting a tournament coming up on the 26th. And we've got a lot of other things coming up. And we'd love to hear from you in the comments. What do you think? Have you ever experienced an age in Warhammer where you had this much balance, this many different aspects in the gameplay? To my recollection, I can never remember there being so much support and multifaceted scoring. Has there been an event you really enjoyed recently? You wanted to shout out your local community? We'd love to hear it. And yeah, thank you for watching. We just want to remind you, if you need anything Kill Team, you can go to our friends at Top Shelf. And we've got a big event coming up with them in February 2026. We have a lot of fun ideas that we've been throwing around. We're thinking it's going to be a doubles tournament based on Twinhammer. So you find kind of a twin, and we have lots of cool ideas on how we are going to make a doubles tournament very enjoyable and fun while working within the framework of the Approved Ops 2025. So we'd love to see you all there. Keep an eye out on BCP for this event coming up. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and have an excellent rest of your week. We will see you very soon.